clean here. You have your list of candidates sitting in front of you, and you're thinking, now what? What do I do next? How do I go about moving them through the process so I can potentially bring them on as a new employee? Well, rest assured, I have some answers for you. Today, we're going to talk about the interview process. I'll talk about it in 2 steps because some people might do a phone interview first and then do some in-person interviews. So I will cover both of those areas. If you're choosing to do a phone interview, that's basically a quick conversation that you have with a potential client that can last maybe about 15 to 20 minutes. During this conversation, you'll reiterate what the job description is, what it is that you're looking for in the candidate, the requirements, maybe a general overview of your practice, and you're basically getting an idea to see if that candidate potentially matches what you're looking for, because some people might slip through the cracks. Even though you say you're looking for a fully licensed candidate, you might have somebody that reaches out who may be a licensed associate counselor, but they're thinking that they're fully licensed, but they're really not. So this initial phone interview just really helps to add an additional layer of screening so that you don't have to spend extra time having a full interview with somebody. When you have a phone interview, it's mainly just introducing yourself, your practice, the culture of your practice, the job description, the requirements, and seeing if they meet those initial requirements, seeing if it might even be a good fit for them. And if it is, then you can go ahead and invite them to an interview, at which time you can either schedule it right then and there if you are ready to do so, or you can let them know that you can send them an email with a link that they can schedule an interview time with you. And by a link, I mean if you have a resource that you use. For example, I use Calendly to schedule my meetings, and that way I can just send somebody a link and it has my availability on it, and they would just pick a time for their interview from that. So it cuts down on going back and forth really on playing phone tag or email tag, trying to schedule a good time. Typically, I'll do a 60-minute interview with a candidate. I have a list of questions that I use, and the list of questions is standard for each candidate that comes in. You want to come up with a list of questions that you can use to interview your candidates because it's just helpful, and also being able to keep things standardized when you're interviewing people. When I go through interview questions, there's a lot of basic questions on there. For example, a question might be, why did you choose to become a therapist? Tell me about some of the most rewarding times during therapy with your clients. Tell me about a challenging moment and how were you able to handle that challenge? Something that's really important for me to know as well is, how are you with your supervisors? How are you when you have a difference of opinion with your supervisors? Because that lets me know if this potential person is feeling open enough to be able to come to me or go to their immediate supervisor if they have a question, or if they have a difference of opinion, or if they have an idea about something, versus being meek. It also lets me know if this potential person is extremely aggressive in the way they might handle differences of opinion in the past with their supervisors. So that's something that's very important for me to find out. I also like to know what their colleagues think of them, because when I'm bringing somebody on, I'm looking for them to be a part of our team of clinicians who are already extremely caring towards our clients, each other, and it's just such a great culture. I want to bring somebody in that can fit that atmosphere of teamwork. So that's another question that I might have on there. Something else that I think might be really helpful to have is, why not start your own private practice? The reason why I have that question on there is because I want to know. So if you're thinking about working for a private practice, How do I know that you're not going to just come on, just learn all you can and leave within the year or so, or even 6 months? So I want to know, why don't you want to start your own private practice? A lot of times people just don't want to have to deal with the back work, deal with insurances maybe, or deal with having to get clients. They just want to go to work, do their job, and go home, and not really be a business owner or entrepreneur per se. And that's perfectly fine. I just want to know. Another question that is helpful too is, what are your long-term goals? I really want to know that, because I want to know if this person is planning on staying for only a very short period of time, or maybe an extended period of time. Maybe this person is newer in the field and they are looking to go into private practice, but not for several years. That's helpful information to know as well. Another question that I tend to ask people is to share some of their strengths, to share some of the areas where they feel that they can grow in. Because I want to know that they've done their own self-assessment as well, to be able to know what areas that they would like to grow and need growth. I want to know that they don't feel like they're a know-it-all, and because I believe that all of us, including myself, can grow in different areas. So that's something that I find very helpful. Another thing that I find helpful for my practice, because we are pretty much all online with our paperwork, our EHR system, I want to know how they are with technology. So I ask some questions about technology. I also ask questions about their paperwork and how they are with paperwork, because oftentimes as therapists, we get into it to help our clients, but sometimes the administrative piece might be a little bit lacking. So I want to know that too. And sometimes people are really forthcoming to let you know, like, hey, that's my area for growth. And that's very helpful to know, because if I do eventually bring this person on, I can use some of these things in the interview to really help them to be able to grow and to flourish. Those are just some of the questions that I use for my first interview. And also my teammates will use those same set of questions, and it provides consistency across the board. I have a list of the full set of questions as part of my coaching program. Feel free to get my hiring list that I have of what you need to hire people, because I really wanted to try to help make it easier and streamlined in bringing on additional clinicians. After the first interview, if I feel like the person is a really good candidate, and I will invite them to move on to the second interview. I will do this either during the first interview at the end, if I feel very strongly at the end and passionate about moving them forward, or I will let them know that I will get back to them shortly about them either moving forward or not. And so I will reach out to them and let them know that I would like to invite them out to a second interview. I encourage you in your own practice that if you're thinking about hiring, it's really not that hard. It's just a matter of getting your own systems in place, and then it's a matter of wash, rinse, and repeat it. And you've got this. Feel free to drop any comments below, ask any questions, check out the free new hire checklist so that can answer some of your questions as well. Bye.